Why do we love to watch evil on screen? The same people we don't want to be even remotely associated with fascinate us no end. We want to know what makes them that way. We want to know how they go about their daily life. We want to know every little thing about them, but would we love to have such evil people around us? No. It speaks volumes about the voyeuristic nature of humans. Probably why seeing evil on screen feel all the more better when displayed by someone who is a household. Vanakkam and welcome to Cinema Express, and in this video review episode, we are going to talk about director Jithin K Jose's Kalamkaval, which stars Mammootty, Vinayakan, Jibin Gopinath and a bunch of other actors. This review will contain spoilers, so viewer discretion is advised. Right from the time we see Mammootty on the screen, we sense something off. He is sitting with his family of four, happily watching songs on the TV. He gets a call and is forced to leave the happy family to attend to something urgent. And soon enough, we see him in the company of a beautiful woman who has left her home to be with him. He promises to part ways with his wife soon, but decides to spend the night with her in a shady lodge. Nothing about this transaction seems right, and soon enough, there is a chilling exchange between the girl played by Rajisha Ramachandran and Mammootty's character. It is a wonderfully staged scene that feels like a musical piece that is waiting to reach its crescendo, and the moment it does, we understand the monster behind the man, and we have Mammootty proclaiming to the world that evil has a new address. And just like his Chatan from Brahmayugam, this time too, he is a shapeshifter but of the humankind. Kalamkaval is inspired by the real life story of serial killer Cyanide Mohan, who killed hapless women. If you have seen recent offerings on the Hindi OTT space, the beats of Kalamkaval might remind you of Sonakshi Vijay Varma's Dahad or Arshad Jitendra's Bhagavad Chapter 1. But while the substance is the same, the style is entirely different in Kalamkaval, and Jithin manages to weave an interesting police procedural around the killings, but since it is Mammootty who is playing the antagonist, the focus is on him and not that we are complaining anyway. The way the narrative crisscrosses timelines and shows how Mammootty's character seduces, cheats and induces the idea of death of numerous women is a wonderful screenplay technique. It is this structure that makes Kalamkaval different from the Dahads and the Bhagavats. Here, we are casually shown how the killings happen and how it is perfected over time and how the methods keep on evolving as and when the cops come closer. While the premise is definitely inspired by the serial killings, the makers turn it on its head by finding a new way to get Mammootty and Vinayakan's characters to be at loggerheads. Vinayakan, who plays the no-nonsense cop Jayakrishnan, is a fascinating character, and he plays it with incredible restraint, but it is the subduedness that makes the character all the more chilling because we are waiting for the eventual explosion to happen. Also, there is a wonderful sublayer to this character that is merely hinted at without going into the depths of the same. When you hear a tale about a man who once had to kill rats due to an infestation problem, slowly beginning to enjoy the act of killing and craves for that high, you expect that to be the backstory of the serial killer. But when it comes from Jayakrishnan, you can't help but think if this is the classic two sides of the same coin kind of a narrative. However, this police procedural has no place for such gimmicks, and it maintains not just a layer of authenticity, but a rare vulnerability that is not often given to cops of a certain pedigree. Coming back to the killings, the way the narrative introduces the various victims and how Mammootty's character weaves in and out of their stories is fascinating. There's a lot of timeline jumping that might leave you confused as to how this character is going about his killing spree and what his motivation truly is. But Jithin trusts in his audience's ability to join the dots, and this is the biggest strength of the film because it never, not even for a moment, decides to dilute its pacing or narrative to appeal to all sections of the audience. But this also means that not enough focus is given to the police procedure. While the writing doesn't really exalt Mammootty's character, it doesn't overtly vilify it either. Of course, it is clear that the character is no role model and it doesn't make Jayakrishnan a dummy. There is enough for both to chew on, and Mammootty and Vinayakan deliver master classes in handling the emotional weight of a killer and his hunter even while going through the motions of a police procedural. Even though the focus remains firmly on Mammootty, the police procedural does have meat in it simply because it is set in an era before the CCTV. Here they have no choice but to resort to actual police work where they walk in and out of the various suspects' houses, travel across Tamil Nadu and Kerala borders frequently to find a way to get to the bottom of the case. They meet more than their fair share of obstacles and surprising benevolence from the higher-ups. It is not something we often get to see in our films of today, and that's why I like to see more of this in Kalamkaval. If Vinayakan is the yin in the story, Mammootty is the yang, and there is a sense of deliciousness to his evil turn. When the women accept his overtures, it makes you think it comes easy for him. But in the police investigation, when we are shown the lens to which he goes to get these women, it is clear that his high doesn't come from just the killing but also the hunt. That is why he's visibly distraught when one of his potential victims doesn't share their phone number. The way Mammootty reacts to the rejection and the smiles he gives to make them accept his wiles and the gleaming eyes that tell a story of its own is an acting masterclass. In a neat way, the film is divided into chapters. The interval block is a rather fun one that turns the tables on the investigation, and it shows the biggest sign that the makers aren't going for a biographical approach to the story of Cyanide Mohan. They have been inspired, yes, but the inspiration has taken wings to result in a fantastic twist that makes you smile at the evil genius at the center of it all. While it is clear as day as to what fate is going to befall the investigation into the killer, the film acts as a zodiac redux of some sorts. You are forced to spend a lot more time with the investigation than you have to. It isn't a film where the cop solves the case and almost like Agatha Christie style. Here it is more to do with waiting with bated breath for the killer to do a mistake rather than a flashy waltz in the villain's den to catch him red-handed. The rather dryness of the proceedings is deliberate, and it is Mammootty's charm that adds some sort of adrenaline to the film, and even that is deliberate. You want to know the story of the character, but not for a moment is he glorified into something he is not. Mammootty is clear about it, Vinayakan is clear about it, Jithin is clear about it, and that's a refreshing change. Of course, the women in this film exist to just become the next victims, but it also lays bare the epidemic of loneliness and how their vulnerability pushes them into deeper crevices of the society. In some ways, you understand why they resign to the guiles of the man, and when Jayakrishnan walks around in the film investigating clues, talking to senior officials and doctors and hoping for things to, fall in his favor, it is nice to see how policing is never shown to be a stylish endeavor. It is dreary, dry and depressing, and that is exactly how it should be. But this also leads to a certain sense of repetition. But the film is all about Vinayakan being good and Mammootty being evil, and how Malayalam cinema is able to reimagine its near and dear and show them in a new light. Why can't Vinayakan play a good character? Why should Mammootty not be evil? When stripped of the stardom or any image per se, imagine the kind of roles many of our superstars can actually pull off. Imagine the kind of stories that filmmakers can say when the superstars don't care about what audience would think or what market would dictate. If Brahmayugam showed what Mammootty can do, it was also too much of an experiment that might not be easily emulated by other actors. But in Kalamkaval, which once again shows what Mammootty can do, this is something that can be emulated. At the end of the day, Kalamkaval joins the list of films that stand testament to a statement that is getting truer by the day. This is Mammootty's world, and we are blessed to be living in it. That's it from this video review episode. Do like, share and subscribe to Cinema Express, and do let us know what you thought of the film and this review. Until we meet in the next episode, this is your friendly neighborhood critic, Avinash Ramachandran signing off. Tata!